What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to show you how to install the Adams Polishes Hex detail light. So if you take your car to a detailer, they're probably going to have this in their shop to make sure they can see everything on the paint of the vehicle to get it all corrected as well as possible. Took us a minute to figure out the little cable system, but we got it figured out so you guys don't have to sit there and figure it out. We're also going to show you where to put all the Y connectors and the corner connectors to best fit for your garage. Let's get started. So quick little rundown. All of the Y connectors are going to be going on the inside of your light setup, and the corners are going to go on the very, very outside. So where the hex is in the end and the widest point of the light system, that's where your corners are going to go. And then of course, when you get to the end, front to back, you're going to want the corners on there as well. But keep using the Y connectors to keep moving the lights forward and out in the center. And then obviously make sure you're going to clear garage things like this. So we're going to pull this over just a hair. And then you can adjust your cables as well. I'll show you how to do these, but you can adjust your cables as high off the ceiling as you want or as low. I really could bring them down to like here, but I'm not going to do that. I kind of like them up there like that, so they're more out of the way, because I have a tent lifter over there and I want to be able to have the tent and bed rack get as high and close to the ceiling as it possibly can. But we're gonna measure all of these. We have about 12 or so inches from the bottom of the light from the ceiling. So we're gonna measure each bar, make sure it's all 12 inches, and we'll start cutting the excess cables here in a second, but I'll show you how to do the cables themselves. So your cables are gonna come in a little package like this. Open up, one package is one cable set. I found it easiest to find the end of the cable that doesn't have the metal on it, if you can, and start unraveling it that way. So pushing this end through the loop and keep pushing it. Be careful that this little metal piece doesn't slide off the end that doesn't have a connector on it, and then it unwinds itself. Pull this one through, and then this little metal connector right here is gonna slide down to the end of the cable that has this little metal piece on the end, little stopper, like that. You've got a short machine screw. That's gonna go on the end with that little metal piece that we slid down. On the open end, so on the end that doesn't have anything on it, you're gonna take this little connector here, this piece facing the cable, so just like this, slide this through, and when you're done, it should look like that. Now this is adjustable, so you can slide this down the cable if you want. If you go too far, press this little extension piece in, and you can pull that cable through it while you press it in, so you get it closer to where you want it to be, like that. Once you're there, you've got your anchor points here. So this will be your ceiling anchor piece. You can see a little hole there, that's what you feed the excess cable through. But we've been using our own anchors. Looks similar to this. They're a little bit beefier of a drywall anchor. Adams Polishes does send a yellow kit of anchors. I would use those first. And we made the mistake personally of using too many. So you don't have to put a cable on every single point, but the cables will go on these connectors here, and they don't have to go on every single one. Now I'll show you how to actually connect the cables to these connectors. So now that you know how the cable assembly works, we're gonna take our little machine screw. You'll find the little piece of on the connector that has a spot for a mount. You're gonna slide that machined screw through just like this, and then that other piece on the cable that we slid down at the beginning is going to thread onto that machine screw. So it'll look like this, and then you'll have your light bars connecting to each corner of this, but this is what's gonna hold the assembly up. Now, we used too many of the yellow ones. We used all the cables that came with it by, I would say, about 2/3 of being done. You don't need to do that. So what we did is we put a cable on every single point that we possibly really could. You don't need to do that. You can just do the outer edges and then the center. So you could do outer edge, leave that edge that dips in, outer edge, and then center, and kind of work your way through. Try use as few cables as you can, and then if you have leftovers, go back and look for any spots that may be dipping down and put more cables on there. So I just got more cables from Adams, and now we are almost there. But the bars do just plug in pretty easily, don't force them, and they should click into place. I'll show you. So what Ryan is doing right now, each one of these bars has a little plastic film on them. Make sure you take those off before actually plugging them in. And we're gonna show you guys how to actually anchor these cables to your ceiling. So just like I showed you before, Ryan's gonna put that machine screw up through the hole here, and then that little metal piece will thread right onto it. Just like that, and that's gonna hold this cable to the actual light system itself. Now he's gonna take that cable and basically put it where it should be, and then mark it like so. And now he's got his drill and bit to drill it out. We're gonna put our drywall anchor in the ceiling. Again, we have different ones that didn't come with it because we ran out of cables. Shove that in there. Give it the old Aris soft hammer. Yeah. And now put our screw in with our anchor. There it is. So this will go, I think you got too big a one. Oh, there you go. This will go up in there, so screw inside the anchor. Just like that, and now you can feed your cable through with this little piece on the end. So that little opening that was on that anchor point is what you're gonna put the excess cable through. Just like that, pull it through, and then you can thread that little connector piece to it. Yep. And then this one is hung. So now we measure from ceiling to bottom of the bar. Again, we're making all of these 12 inches off the ceiling. And now we can continue the process and close off these last 2-3 hexes. Now we'll just go ahead and repeat that process. You guys will do it from the very beginning, but we're almost done. So we're gonna repeat the process until we close off these last 1-2 hexes. And then we'll go through again and just measure, make sure they're all 12 inches off the ceiling, and then cut almost all of the remaining excess cable that we fed through the anchor. Probably leave about 1 inch to 2 inches excess, and then you'll be ready to go. And I'll show you the power supply too and how we wired that into my switch in the house. Here is what we did for our power source. So we put a Y connector on one of the ends closest to the garage light bulb outlet there. I bought a 10 amp adapter so we can plug this. This is like 7.5 amps altogether straight into that, so I can run it off of the factory home switch. And now what we're doing is we're routing this power cable like this with the zip ties provided on top of the bars all the way around. We're obviously gonna cut everything, but trying to keep this power cable as out of sight as possible. You can see right over there. We're doing it so that the zip ties are like as far away from the light as possible, so it's less likely to be seen. And we're gonna route it all the way around this hex, all the way around that hex, all the way to that last one there. And then I'm gonna basically tack the cable there up into the ceiling so we can try and get this wire management as nice as we can. So this cable that is your power source is 5 feet long, so it's plenty long to get to where you need it to go. But now we just gotta hide it. But it's looking really, really good. All right, so what we figured out is this method does work really well. You can kind of barely see the zip tie up close. You can't really see it from afar, obviously. What we did is we ran the power source cable all the way up and around this hex, back, over, through, up to the ceiling, put it up there, straight to that outlet. Again, I will put a link for that little adapter in the description of the video, but now we're just gonna cut through all the zip ties, cut some excess cable here, and maybe even use the zip ties to keep some cable like this and just zip tie these cables like that so we have access to lower it in the future if we want to. All right, so what we're doing now is we are cutting the excess cable to about down here, and then using 4-inch zip ties from Home Depot to zip tie the top and the bottom of that cable so it looks like it's almost one cable all throughout to make it all look really clean. So we're gonna finish cutting and zip tying all of these, and then this thing will be all done. So your bar is gonna have this little hole right here, and that's actually to click this connector into place. What I do is I line up the track on the aluminum part. So I'll line that track up first, and then I'll just kind of rotate it onto there, press it in, and then that little clip is gonna lock itself in to that little hole right there. And basically that's how you're gonna build the entire system all the way throughout. Again, corner pieces on the corners on the very, very outside edge, and then like little pieces like that right there, and in there, everything inside are the Y connectors. So we're gonna finish building this thing and show you guys what it looks like all done. So using the 4-inch zip ties from Home Depot, this is what it looked like before. You guys can see all the excess cable hanging down. So this would be so you can lower your light down to like here. So it looked like that before, and now they're looking like that. It looks like one single cable. All we're doing is cutting the end to about where the plastic piece is, and then we zip tie one up top nice and tight, and then one down at the bottom. So from the floor, I mean even from here, it looks like it's just one cable instead of 2 cables and a bunch of excess. We've got a couple more to do, but this project's almost done. All right, there are the lights all installed, and they look so good. They really brighten up the entire garage. Everything in here is just so well lit now. This is the whole project, don't judge me. Floors are getting epoxied. All these shelves are coming out, reorganized. Probably gonna hang a Harrop performance banner over there somewhere, a TV over here, kick this shelf out. But yeah, there you guys go. There is a quick little install video on how to install the Adams Polishes hex lights. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, peace.